Welcome to Hot Topics. In this video, we're going to determine what size of the disconnect is required to disconnect the controller and motor, as well as locate the disconnect based upon certain types of installations. Now, if you like these videos, I would like to remind you to hit that subscribe button, and we'll be bringing these videos to you at least once a week as our aim. As you well know, the whole staff now is busy writing our new illustrated code change book based upon the 2023 edition of the NEC. But now let's review our first illustration, and it's NEC 130-109A1. Now, in the illustration that you see, there's a lot of information given. Of course, our loops are given so that you can start at one point anywhere and go through the complete loop to design the 7 steps that's required to design a perfect motor system circuit and its components based upon the NEC. But right now we're just looking at the 50 horsepower 3-phase 460 volt motor listed in the illustration. And in step 1 we're making an application of 430.109A1, and a 50 horsepower motor requires a 50 horsepower disconnect, probably about a NEMA 3, and it has a range of ability to disconnect the motor controller based upon running current and locked rotor current. So the solution is the disconnect should be equal to 50 horsepower or greater in compliance with NEC 430.109A1. Now we're going to go to our second illustration that we want to review, and notice that is 430.109A1 as well as 430.110A. And now we're just basically taking the full load current of the motor and increasing it by 115%, as you see in step 1, and sizing the disconnect in the boxed in information. So naturally we'll go over to our table 430.250. In the left hand side of the page, the first column, we'll scroll down to a 50 horsepower and then just move across till we line up with 460 volt 3-phase, and we'll find 65 amps is the full load current of the motor. So in step 1 we take the 65 amps times 115%, which would equal 74.75, and we just applied 430.110A. And so the disconnect has to be equivalent of breaking a 74.75 amp current rating. And of course, you know, a NEMA 3 is fully capable of performing such a task. So that is our solution. And now we're ready to move to our next illustration. And basically what we're looking at here is the requirement for the disconnect to be within sight of the controller first. And that's 50 foot or less, route of travel, in accordance with Article 100 of the NEC. And then 430.102A and B2 requires the driven machinery to also be within 50 foot bird's eye view, route of travel. And as long as we're within 50 foot, the controller, the motor, and the driven machinery, then one disconnect would comply with the code, as we would see when we applied 430.102A and B2. Now, with that thought in mind, then, we're ready to move to the next illustration. And then notice we'll look at 430.102A and B as in boy 1. Now, looking at the illustration, the voltage is 1,000 volts or less. Number 1 disconnect to the right disconnects the controller, and it's within 50 foot bird's eye view. It might even be in an MCC. where the controller and disconnect may be located. But notice the motor is out of sight of the disconnect 1, so we need to install a disconnect 2 and locate it within 50 foot of the motor, bird's eye view, route of travel in accordance with Article 100 for the in-sight rule. And then we're complying with 430.102A and B1 of the code. And now we're ready to move to our next illustration, which will be 430.102B as in boy 2. Now you notice in the NEC loop we have some important sections, I think, that you should make note of and review in your leisure time. But clearances, 110.26A of the disconnect, how the disconnect should be marked, 110.22, the directory, 408.4, and the sizing, 430.110, really as well as 430.109A1, and then the fuse holders in 430.57 refers you in use of 430.55, and notice you could have a disconnect with the overloads or backup overloads installing the disconnect. So we know the NEC loop's kind of important, but notice disconnect 1 is within sight of the controller. But notice we do not need additional disconnect, period, if we can lock disconnect 1 in the open position. Then we would be all right where the motor was inside or it wasn't in sight. This rule would give you permission to install the disconnect either way and have the motor located within sight, or it might not be located within sight. 430.102B2. Now, the next illustration that we want to review will be 430.102A exception 1. And notice when we look at this particular disconnect, the voltage is over 1,000. And we'll just say it's 4160. We'll just say that. Then notice that disconnect, as you see, locked in the open position, does not have to be within sight of the controller or the motor. But as a rule, I've seen this installation many times. At the controller, you'd identify where the disconnect was and where the motor was located. At the motor, you'd locate, mark, and identify on a label where the controller is and where the disconnect is. And basically, you don't need additional disconnect. But sometimes the owner of a facility or the supervisor of the facility will want a disconnect located by that motor so that it's easy to perform maintenance there by just disconnecting the power with a disconnect, locking, tagging it out, and do your work. Then you don't have to go disconnect hunting or walking maybe a great distance to lock and tag out the circuit. So that's basically what 430.102A1 exception 1 is illustrating when the voltage is over 1,000 volts. Now, the next illustration that we want to review is 430.102B, and it'd be exception A and B. And notice this motor, 600 volts or less, the disconnect is cable being locked in the open position. It is within sight of the controller, and it is not within sight of the motor, so we need another disconnect by that motor if the facility supervision wants it, or this disconnect 1 is not being cabled to be locked in the open position. And so this is notes where we could lock and tag out the disconnect, and if it's within sight of the controller, maybe in an MCC, for example, we wouldn't have to have disconnect 2, but disconnect 2 may be required to be put there because the owner and supervision requires a local disconnect within 50 foot of the motor, bird's eye view, route of travel, as Article 100 defines in sight, within sight, and so forth. So we're just looking at Note 1 and Note 2, which is required when we apply the exceptions. 430.102B, Exception A in the 2017, Exception 1 in the 2020, and in course you'd be applying B part also. So keep that in mind. And now we're ready to move to our next illustration, which would be 430.102B as in boy, exception. Now, I want you to watch this myth. I've seen it get a lot of electricians, contractors in trouble. And that's where an owner will tell you, well, we're going to turn the breaker off to the motor, lock the cover. No, you don't sign off on anything like that. They have to actually lock and tag out the individual breaker, CB, if that be the case, not the cover. That'll get you in bad trouble if somebody got hurt or anything. Then again, you see the NEC loop that gives you a lot of good designing and installing information. Now, the final illustration that we want to review is 110.33A3. When you lock these doors that you see in the illustration, it's just to prevent the unqualified from gaining access into that room. Don't fall for this myth that, well, if I turn the breaker off or the disconnecting means that supplies the motor and then lock the door, that's a lock and tag out procedure in accordance with Article 120 of 70E, as well as OSHA 1910 subpart S. We don't want to fall for that kind of myth. You want to tell the facility owners, no, you have to be capable of locking the disconnecting means out and disconnecting all the ungrounded conductors to the controller and motor, even if you have to add an additional disconnecting means. Now there, folks, you have it. That's basically how you locate the disconnect after you have sized it based upon horsepower and braking current. Now, the braking current you want to say disconnect to that 50 horsepower three-phase motor, you would go to table 430.251. Left-hand side of the page, first column, scroll down to 50 horsepower, then move across to the 460 volt column, and the disconnect has to be capable of disconnecting 363 amps of lock rotor current. Now notice when you look at your table 230.250, a 65 horsepower motor has a 65 amp full load current rating. So you're breaking that with a 50 horse. But when you move over to table 430.251, that 50 horsepower disconnect is also capable of de-energizing 363 amp. So look at these sections that I've mentioned to you in your leisure time if you want to just see that what I'm telling you complies with the code. And there, folks, you have it. And my name is James Gray Stallcup, and I thank you for watching this video.